Oh boy, hello everybody. Just as I'm getting into Age of Sigmar, being really interested in what Spearhead truly is, and also being really excited for Sigmar 4 to actually just get into my hands, they give us Hive Secundus. So, Necromunda. It's a little bit of the... It's Marmite. Wait, Americans don't know what that is. Okay, Marmite. You love it or you hate it. It's a thing in England. There you go. In Australia, you've got Vegemite. It's Marmite. It is... So, for those of you that don't know, a couple of months ago, I was searching for different games to play, and I played myself a few games of Necromunda, and I also did what I tend to do, and went out and bought, like, multiples of every warband. I got, like, the base box and the expansion box of gangers for every warband apart from Orlocks. No, because I already had Orlocks. Anyway, so I have like everything ready to go. Not painted. Who paints? That's cringe. But I have it all, and I'm actually generally quite pro Necromunda. I have some thoughts on it, and there's a reason that I didn't really keep on playing it at my local after I got super into it briefly. But let's quickly go through Hive Secundus, and then at the end of the article, I'll have a quick chat about what this means for me as a Necromundian, if you will, and what it might mean for you. So, first things first, what is Hive Secundus? So, for those of you unaware, Necromunda is a skirmish game from back in the, I'm going to say 90s, probably not the 80s, from back in the 90s. It had an edition that went away, and then they brought it back, I'm going to say 2017, 2016, as a brand new thing. And since then, we've had standard Necromunda. We've had it then expand out to Zone Mortalis, which gave us new plastic terrain. And then we've had it go outside to the Ash Wastes. And now it seems they're coming back inside, but inside into a different area with Hive Secundus. And it seems like, hard to say exactly, but the way they're pitching Hive Secundus is almost like a board game. Now, I don't think it will be a board game. We're not going to use hexes, etc. It's still going to be Necromunda, but it's a dungeon crawl. That's the word. So they're pitching it as inside Hive Secundus, this box set, you will get a self-contained... Sorry, it says it right at the top there. You will get a self-contained dungeon crawl. So if we look down, this is what we get in the box. It is a mat. I would guess this is a kill team size mat, just because that's the kind of thing GW produces. We get a rulebook. We get a single sprue of bulkheads, which we already have access to. That's something you can get for Necromunda already. And we get a bunch of stuff that we need to play the game. Cool. You might see top right corner there. Yes, Necromunda still uses templates. Nice. Let's keep going. Let's look at the new models, and then I'll talk about actual like mechanics at the end. We get all new models, which is super cool. It's been a while since Necromunda has had like a whole new thing. So first up, we have the Spyrers. Spyrers are, for super brief explanation, Necromunda is all about the gangers, the gang warfare. It's about the lowest of the low, the scum, the dregs of society that don't get on anywhere else, and they fight amongst each other. Spyrers are basically the opposite. They are the highborn nobles. They will be noble sons, even like the actual like son and daughter of the leader of Necromunda, the planet. Some can be Spyrers, right? Well, yeah. Basically, Spyrers are defined by the fact that they have access to the absolute best technology, pretty much in the Imperium. But then you look at this, maybe that's not these guys specifically, but they do have access to that level of craziness. And here we are. We get told that you can build these two in many different ways, with lots of different loadouts. Cool. These are Horus Spire Hunters. Again, just thinking back to my 90s knowledge, there were different types. I can't remember what all of the different types were. Sorry. I had one that had wings, and I remember it. Let's take a trip down memory lane. On it had like a gun that had like 20 different barrels, which was just one gun, but maybe it was a mini chain gun, I don't know. And I actually rolled a dice for every barrel every tiny little barrel on that gun. I missed every time. Yeah, it's traumatic for me to remember. It's probably defined my life much more than it should. We then get to the first guys that we're expanding upon, which of course the Van Saar. All new tech dudes, tech hunters they're called. I'm actually really excited for Van Saar. I've got a full gang of them. Everything really cool. I really like the Van Saar. And there's nothing cooler than an underslung heavy weapon. Totes Chad. Although it looks like a claw. So maybe that's a melee thing. Which is something that I think the Van Saar don't typically get access to. It has a flamer underneath it. Never mind. Auto hitting, auto pinning. Great. OP broken. Good stuff. We'll keep going. We go from what I think's possibly one of the better models for Van Saar to the worst model for Van Saar right above me here. Who's a dude? Just like, oh, hello. What? Huh? Anyway, let's move on because we then come to the actual best model for Van Saar. What a sniper. Absolute Chad. Totally love it. Looks really cool. And then we go a few more. Minor aside, if you're thinking about the thing that everybody thinks about, so they say that every model is a Necromunda model, and that's because Necromunda is purely narrative. It's purely a campaign game. If you see something for 40k or Age of Sigmar that you like, you can make it a Necromunda model, 100%. But I would say the flip side also works for some Necromunda models. They're almost all on 25mm bases. So, you know, these guys, the Van Saar, are quite high-tech. They could easily be Tau. You want some Guevesa? Van Saar fit right into the Tau aesthetic. We then keep going, and we get Genestealers, because the whole point of Hive Secundus, it was said just above there, that I didn't bother reading out for you, is infestation. There you go. What more do you need to know? Infestation, and Lord Helmore decides to absolutely nuke it from orbit. Not exterminate the planet, just like bombard this into the ground. So now the entire place is rubble, and so your dungeon crawl is that. The place is a dungeon, you are underground. But of course the infection survives. And there is, who knows how serious it means this, but it does say in the little flavor text there that these guys are so mutated that even the hive mind doesn't want them, or might not want them. And sure enough, looking at these, firstly, great additions to a Tyranid player who just wants some alternative sculpts. But they do look distinctly different. They look far more jagged, which is odd because obviously Tyranids are quite spiky. These are jagged. There you go. Look cool. Don't really know what the little floaty things are, but hey, you need cannon fodder, so that's great. It will be very interesting to see how they stat these up. Like, are they going to be super fast? Are they going to be resistant to stuff? Either way, bunch of cool models. Good stuff. And then we get to just some, I think they're called Brood Scum. Now, the Brood Scum models here are actually already existing models, but with head swaps. So these are already the Hive Scum models, which are just generic dudes, basically. Like, they're nothing. They have no flavor to them. That's the point of them. They can go into any gang. But now they have... Basically, it's like, you know how every alien in Star Trek is just a human, but with, like, ridges in different places on their forehead? They get the Star Trek head sprue. There you go. Basically. Good stuff. But that's fine. I guess you need some mooks. Then we get the rulebook, which, of course, looks very alien-y. Bug-like, I would say. Bug is the right word, isn't it? It almost doesn't look like a Genestealer. It looks like a bug, a generic bug. There we go. And that's it. That's all we get. That's everything for Hive Secundus. Now, I want to very quickly at the end here, if you're interested in Necromunda, that's the only way you've made it to the end of this video. Let me quickly kind of run down what Necromunda is for you and why it's a little bit controversial, perhaps. So firstly, it's not a competitive game at all. It's not something you're supposed to min-max in a skirmish type format. You are supposed to play it as a campaign. Necromunda works better not in its individual games, but in the continuation of your models throughout a narrative series of events. And what that means is that it's really hard to get pickup games for. That doesn't mean you can't get them. There are Necromunda players there. But what I just said is how the game is meant to be played and enjoyed. That's not how everybody views it. It is very easy due to the mechanics of Necromunda to break Necromunda. In fact, in the Ash Wastes book, that's how you can build your own vehicles. And it straight up says, almost verbatim, I can't remember the actual word for word, but it says this in the Ash Wastes book, when building a vehicle, it says, it is possible to make a completely broken vehicle. We advise you don't do this. Right? Consider these rules a way to guide you to building your own gang's vehicle as you want. It straight up says you can break the game. And what does breaking the game mean? To clarify, it means you can win the game. You can make it so broken that whoever gets the first turn wins the game. Guaranteed, 100%, not a question, okay? As soon as you understand that you are going into a game like that, you cannot get a pickup game. You have to have a discussion. If you are okay with having a discussion with the people that you will be playing with, Necromunda can be an amazing game. It provides enough of a framework that you can still have a competitive game. Competition is inherent in any form of 1v1 game. Competition is not bad. Balance, Necromunda is competitive because all games are competitive. It is not a balanced game, to clarify. Balance, they threw to the wind with zero caution. They did not care. Just keep that in mind. There are so many examples of it, but it is possible to make it so that your opponent genuinely cannot do anything to you if you take the right team. And for example, I was gearing up to play a game at a local game night with me, a game club with me of Necromunda. I went out to the Discord and said, hey guys, I'm interested in playing Necromunda for the first time. I've never played before. Would anybody else be interested in giving me a teaching game, etc.? And a few people said, yeah, actually, yeah, it sounds really good. Tell you what, in 2 months' time, great, we'll start a campaign. I was like, okay, fine. Now, in 2 months' time for me, that's an eternity. I'd lost interest by then, right? But, staying on track, so we set up another channel in the Discord server. Cool. I go check it out, see what people are saying. It's mainly just people saying, oh, I'm going to run this gang. So, we can have multiples, that's fine, but just so you know, maybe we should split it up. Cool, fair enough. And then somebody hit me with a thing that I hadn't thought I'd see. I thought everybody was on the same page about Necromunda. But no, because of course everybody enjoys their war games in different ways. And I have my competitive, balanced games. Necromunda, I was approaching it purely like, you know what, I want to lose because that's fun. Because that will give me a story to tell, and I want a story. I can see myself playing Necromunda for the story that I create on the table. Whereas when I play Kill Team, I want to win. I don't want a story. I want my story to be I rolled a bunch of 6s and you rolled a bunch of 1s and I won. Because there's balance there. And if I fail in Kill Team, I fail because of me. If I fail in Necromunda, I fail because of bullshit, and it's funny and cool. I now have a story. My models come back with a limp, with a hand cut off, with having short-term memory loss, which I can exemplify in the rules by whatever. They randomly roll a new skill on the tree every time they activate. It's a narrative game. Do whatever you want. It's fun. So anyway, in this Discord, somebody says, and that was how I was approaching Necromunda. I was really excited for it. And then somebody says, hey guys, the Sump Croc is whatever, a mercer. I don't know the technical terms. I'm not that into Necromunda, unfortunately, but bear with me. The Sump Croc can be taken by any gang, or if your gang can take the Sump Croc, you definitely should, because you could do this, and then you could do this, and then that means you're like super broken as a gang. Like, it's absolutely the best, blah blah blah. Now, whether that person was right or wrong is completely irrelevant. On a side note, I believe they were wrong, and I believe that a week later they actually realised they were wrong as well. That's not the point. The point is, somebody that I could have gone to play against, with me, with my built straight out of the box as it says in the guide, like, oh yeah, my guys only have pistols because I didn't want to give them machine guns because I wanted them to just be like fluffy and stuff. There were people in there that said, that were thinking, how can I take the best team possible? And I was like, in my naivete, I was like, oh my god, I didn't think anybody would do that in Necromunda. But of course they do, because people want to win. And that's why, if you want to play Necromunda, if you want to check out Hive Secundus, I strongly recommend that you do it with friends. Or people that you have genuinely discussed beforehand what you want out of that game. If you want to be the team that goes in fully kitted with night vision goggles, uses their power card to turn the lights off so the enemy team cannot shoot, you can do that. But make sure your opponent knows you're going to be a twat, okay? And then you can do it, and you can play a twat game together. But please don't go to these narrative games doing that and then expecting everybody to, like, match you at that level. It's kind of not what Necromunda's for, right? There are other games with limits built into the rules to stop you from out-twatting your opponent, right? Necromunda doesn't do that because it wants you to have the tools to do what you think is cool. If you think being a twat is cool, you can do that. Just please tell your opponent. My gosh. Sorry, I didn't mean to proselytize on this. Necromunda, super cool concept. Also, I want to point this out too. The core base rules are quite fun. Quite fun. And this is the other thing that I should have said right at the start. Sorry. Oh, nobody is still here. This is a supplement for Necromunda. It is not a new edition of Necromunda. And I think that pretty much tells us what GW is thinking about Necromunda. They are happy with the rule set. The fact that it is broken and you can twat it up is what they want. So anybody who's been waiting for the next big release for Necromunda, wondering, are they going to change how pinning works? Are they going to change the bullshit? No, they like that. They want that. They do not want this to be balanced. That is a feature, not a bug. You have to talk to your opponent before you play them. You can't just ask them questions. You got to get their vibe. There you go. That's Necromunda. Play it with friends. It'll be really fun. Go into the game wanting to lose because of the story it will give you, and you will have a great game of Necromunda. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hive Secundus. Nice.